respond back, it's okay. This is a hearing which is now being called to order. We have a quorum in the presence of President Clark, Councilwoman Parker, Councilman Tollenberger, and Councilman Dom. This is a public hearing of the City Council's Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. The purpose of this public hearing is to hear testimony on Bill number 180864 and Resolution number 181115. Will the clerk please read the title of the bill and resolution?
Bill number 180864, an ordinance amending Chapter 17-1500 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Annual Disparity Study and Participation Goals by providing for further detail relating to, among other things, North American Industry Classification System codes under certain terms and conditions, and Resolution number 181115, a resolution authorizing the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development to hold hearings regarding Power Up Your Business, a free small business training program provided by the Community College of Philadelphia.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Councilwoman Reynolds Brown, who is the author of this legislation, prime sponsor, cannot be here this morning. So she has entrusted me to read her opening statement. I will do my best to sound like my colleague, as eloquent as she sometimes can be. And this is, and I quote, "I am pleased to introduce this legislation on the issue that has animated my entire career, ensuring adequate opportunities for women and minority and disabled businesses in contracting involving the city and on city-funded projects. I want to commend my former colleague, W. Wilson Good Jr., for his leadership on the issue and his steadfast, unwavering, which is very much Blondell Reynolds, commitment to this goal of diversity and inclusion. The purpose of this legislation is to require additional reporting of the types of businesses operating in the city for an annual disparity study, which is required by the Home Rule Charter and used to establish the city's contracting goals. Currently, the disparity study organizes its reports by using three categories of businesses: professional services, services, supplies and equipment, and public works. This bill will expand reporting by using census data to include a series of business codes that these codes will help to use and understand whether or not businesses are receiving city contracts representing a diverse cross-section of businesses that operate in the city of Philadelphia. My office, meaning her office, has been in the conversation with the Office of Economic Opportunity since last summer to develop this legislation. I want to thank the administration, and particularly the Office of Economic Opportunity. Ms. Harper, are you there? She shouted you out. And Ms. Jan, for collaborating with us throughout the process. I look forward to Ms. Harper's testimony. And I end quote. So I couldn't say it as eloquent as she said, but you get the point. So with that, Ms. Williams, are there any comments from members on the committee? Seeing none, can you read the first group and panel to testify?
Iola Harper.
Welcome, Ms. Harper.
Thank you very much.
All right. Pull the mic close to you. State your name for the record, and please begin your testimony.
Iola Harper, Office of Economic Opportunity. Good morning, Chair Jones and members of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Iola Harper, and I'm the Deputy Commerce Director of the City's Office of Economic Opportunity. I'm here to testify in support of Bill number 180864. The purpose of the bill is to deepen the analysis of the city's contracting activity with minority and women-owned firms, or MWBEs. The city conducts an annual disparity study, which seeks to examine the disparity between what we spend with MWBEs and what we should spend based on the availability of firms in our geographic area. The analysis is conducted by examining the type and size of contracts, the geography of the firms, the ethnicity of the firms, and other factors. However, The disparity study does not fully analyze the type of industries where we see the most and least participation. For instance, are African American firms getting contracts primarily in construction, or are they seeing work in white-collar fields like accounting and engineering as well? This bill seeks to address that question and provide the city valuable answers. By using the North American Industrial Classification, or NAICS codes, the scope of the study will be expanded to perform an analysis and discern how the city's participation number is achieved. OEO fully supports this notion. More information is always helpful, and it will inform our outreach and business development efforts to know who is getting what type of contract. We have contacted eConsult, the firm that conducts our annual disparity study, and learned that these changes will cost an additional $9,000 yearly. While our office supports this bill, we feel there may be a more targeted way to conduct this analysis. Rather than increasing the scope of the entire study, it might be more productive to target certain industries that the city is most interested in. We have discussed this with eConsult. They are familiar with where there is and where there is not participation, having run these numbers many times. eConsult may be able to direct us towards the most compelling examples of a consolidation of participation or lack thereof. That way, we can perform a more profound examination of those industries rather than a slightly superficial analysis of all industries. We have discussed this with Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown's office, and we plan to have a meeting with eConsult to work through the issues. Bottom line is that we have a way to break down the NAICS codes and perform the type of analysis that this bill recommends. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Just real quickly, for my clarification, I see at least, maybe 20 new classifications. Have you?
I haven't seen those.
Can I ask the Sergeant of Arms take that too? And they're very interesting, inclusive of agriculture and other things. Mm-hmm. So I mean, help me to understand why that might be helpful to you, to do your responsibility and job.
Well, because we do our disparity study based on, every NAICS code has subcodes under it. So if it's construction, there may be 20 sub-construction codes.
Electric, carpentry,
right.
Plumbing.
So it'll have the same number, but it'll have a different two-digit extension.
Got it.
So by analyzing the two-digit extensions, we can see within a category where the business is coming from, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, so instead of just saying construction, if it's carpentry versus electrical, we know the distinction.
That's right.
And that allows you to make that delineation. I get it.
That's right. And start to, look for firms where there aren't many,
Right.
and all of those type of things. So we are in support of doing that.
The second question I would have is you're breaking down it by census tracts.
Yes.
So that's a deeper dive and not standard metropolitan.
Well, it's
area?
not census tracts, it's just NAICS codes. It's NAICS codes. So we will have information according to geography. We're not going any deeper there. We're going deeper with the codes,
Okay,
not the census
got it,
tract.
Got it. So in another lifetime, I used to do that kind of work,
Okay.
as urban legend tells. And there was a barge bid, and literally, we were trying to find participation on the fabrication and erection of a ship. And that
Okay.
isn't necessarily your traditional female minority. We had to go to Lancaster to find underwater welders.
Wow.
Underwater welders to find out, and because this school, Stephen Smith? Thaddeus
Stevens,
That's
okay.
it. We found them at that trade school
That's
and
amazing.
actually got them certified in businesses to be a part of the, how you doing, Councilman Green? Good to see you. And we were able to include them in
Yes.
this. So this deeper dive into codes allows you to look for specific firms
Yep.
in specific industries
Yes.
to include in our business activity.
Absolutely.
Got it. Are there
Absolutely.
any other questions, members of the panel? Seeing none, you've done a great job explaining
Thank you very much.
Councilwoman's legislation that you've worked with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Williams, can you read the title of, are there any others to testify on this bill?
No, there's no other witnesses on this bill.
Going once, going twice, seeing none. Can you now read or do you want us to move it out of committee?
Yes.
All right, okay. We will recess our public hearing to go into our public meeting in order to move this bill. The chair will recognize my vice chair, Councilwoman Parker.
Thank you.
For a motion on bill number 180864.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that bill number 180864 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further move that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at the next session of council.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that bill number 180864 be reported from this committee with a favorable recommendation, and further be moved that the rules of council be suspended to permit first reading of this bill at our next session of council. All those in favor of this motion will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, the ayes have it, and this motion carries. We will now go back into our public hearing to hear testimony on resolution number 181115. Can you read once again, Ms. Williams, the title of this resolution?
Resolution number 181115, a resolution authorizing the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development to hold hearings regarding Power Up Your Business, a free small business training program provided by Community College of Philadelphia.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Can you also call up the first panel to testify on this resolution? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I take it back. Can we hear from my vice chair and then Councilman Green, who is here for the record?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to quickly take a stroll through history to refresh our memory so that we all have some context about the origination of the Power Up program. This program was developed in 2016 in collaboration with Dr. Guy Generals and CCP as a result of the discussions about Philadelphia's beverage tax. And during that time, there was much discussion about the impact that the beverage tax would have on neighborhood-based small businesses. Councilman Jones, you've been and worked in this arena with small businesses for years. That discussion really struck something in me, because I remembered when the neighborhood-based small businesses, that is the corner stores in the neighborhood that I grew up in West Oak Lane, many of the people who owned those stores actually lived in those neighborhoods. And now we've seen a transition whereupon that is not the case. So what we wanted to do was to find a way to support those small businesses that have been functioning, on a wing and a prayer, maybe inside of their homes, but to provide some technical and backroom support on all of the skill sets that are needed in order to run a successful small business. For the record, the initial funding for this program was $2.4 million for 3 years. That was $800,000 per year. This is the year that the funding expires. So it was necessary to have this hearing to hear about its success, what has been the actual return on investment for our city. So we are really looking forward to hearing from eConsult so that we can know how has it impacted the overall growth of small businesses in our city. I also want to state for the record that we know that CCP was in essence the right place that this program should have been housed in, because they had already been successfully running what is renowned and globally recognized, and that is the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. And so they had the expertise, but the Goldman Sachs program was just a little more advanced than where the small businesses that we were interested in connecting to services where they would go. Because our program focused on micro and small businesses who needed that assistance. It's a 10-week program, 30-hour peer-based learning, got off the ground in 17. I just wanted to note for the record, and I am very proud of this, that this program has helped hundreds of small businesses in every council district and nearly every zip code in the city of Philadelphia. I was pleased and surprised to note that 120 businesses have completed the 10-week peer-based cohort. 806 people have, and I'm a little biased here because you all know how I feel about our neighborhood commercial court of businesses. So we've had 806 people attend our storefront workshop series. 529 business owners have attended our community and partnership workshops. And if Councilwoman Reynolds Brown were here, she would be very pleased to know that more than 84% of the participants have been people of color, and nearly 71% have been women. And so I needed to state for the record to Dr. Guy Generals, to Carl DeFries, to my good friend Lynette Brown, so she's not here, but she is always here, to Pearl Wang, who is the former director, but she's now the executive director of Oxford Circle, and our program's current interim director, Audrey Snyder. I want to thank each of you for your unwavering support, and we look forward to your testimony today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman, for staying on this issue, remembering it, and then following through with our strategic partners here today, because we're going to hear how it has benefited hundreds of small businesses in the city of Philadelphia. I also want to recognize the presence of Councilwoman Blackwell, who a lot of these classes are taught in her district, 3rd District, where CCP happens to have class from there. And I'm not saying that as a result of the fact that in the 4th District we have no classes there, but I'm just citing that it couldn't happen to a better councilwoman than having that.
Thank you. West is best.
West is best. Also, I want to recognize officially Councilman Green, who has joined this panel today. Do you have comments, Councilman Green?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Also, I want to applaud my colleague, Councilmember Sherelle Parker, for today's resolution for hearings on the Power Program. I apologize for being late this morning. Actually, this morning I was attending a kickoff breakfast for another small business initiative here in the city, Inner City Capital Connections, which had their kickoff breakfast this morning, and they work closely with the Power Program as well as the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses, and we're really starting to create an ecosystem that you can be a mom and pop business that's starting a business right out of their house to a much larger corporation like Pyramid Construction, who are on the verge of becoming a true national leader in construction. And having those resources from the large, the medium, and the very small businesses is very important for the growth of our city, considering we have such high levels of poverty. And it's the growth of these businesses which will provide jobs in our city and help us to get out of the poverty situation. I was fortunate enough to speak at one of the graduation ceremonies for Power Up at CCP. I think they've done phenomenal work. I keep running into graduates of this program, people I know from the neighborhood, the community, all around the city of Philadelphia, who come up to me. In fact, I just met someone just last week who gave me his card, who has a juice company in Reading Terminal. And he came up to me and said that I had spoke at the graduation and that he was sharing with me the growth of his business, and in fact they're at the Reading Terminal Market. So I will be supporting this effort, this initiative, as well as the efforts of my colleague as we try to identify resources for this very worthwhile program. And I commend their efforts for having this resolution and having this conversation here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm not one who, in the audience, I get in trouble when I give people shout-outs. Last year it was Nazareth Sabri. She was shunned by her colleagues because I singled her out. I don't care. Good work all of you do good work, and it's good seeing people that I have worked with over the years, and one of which I'm going to recognize is Miss Marla Hamilton of PIDC. I got shocked when I saw her here.
She belongs to us.
She belongs to us all.
Yes.
She's citywide. We can all fight over her. I think it's safe to say that she has been responsible for helping more small businesses in the city of Philadelphia than just about anybody I know. And so we're glad to see you care about the small businesses as well. So thank you for attending these hearings.
Thank you.
Yes. You see, everybody's claiming you. All right. So, Ms. Williams, will you please read the names of the first panel to testify on this resolution?
Dr. Donald Guy Generals and Carol J. DeFries.
Welcome. Thank you. All right. Okay. Got it. So, you know, as the
starting with a commercial.
academians that you are, we realize that your testimony is 4 pages long. Feel free to use cliff notes of your testimony as we watch the video, okay? Because we have other people
Okay,
that
sure.
want to testify.
Do you want us to? Sorry, maybe we should just go ahead.
My name's Sean Miller. I own H. Smith Shop as well as the Art Shop.
My business is Sterling Arts Gallery.
Olympic Tots started in 2007. The whole point is to have a quality and affordable care.
We have changing exhibitions every month, and at the beginning of each exhibition, we have an opening reception for the artists.
I actually was working in corporate America in the marketing industry, and I got to a point when I really didn't like going into the office anymore and being a part of that grind.
I signed up for the Power Up Your Business program at Community College of Philadelphia.
I thought that going through the Power Up Your Business program would help me fine-tune some of the things that I had already learned.
What interests me in Power Up was the opportunity to see and analyze my current business.
When we decided to expand, we thought that the program was perfect in refreshing all the different aspects of owning a small business.
I think the Power Up program was really helpful in getting me to really focus on my business and like the finances of my business.
We didn't know those little details that we need to keep an eye on because it's not our expertise.
I think the peer group model was very beneficial in hearing how a restaurant or a daycare center might resolve a similar problem that we were dealing with.
This program touches on all of the things that are very important to a business owner.
It's not your business 101. This is a little deeper that you're already in your business, and now you're just understanding more on how to do better.
I would definitely recommend Power Up Your Business to another business owner, simply because you're always learning something new.
So I encourage all of my peers who are business owners to take advantage of the Power Up Your Business program.
And I'm so glad that I took the opportunity and looked into that. It was the best decision ever.
So good morning,
Morning.
Chairman Jones and members of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. Let me take a moment here and give a special thanks to Councilwoman Sherelle Parker, whose vision it is that brought us to this point whereby we've been able to put together a very successful small business program. I think we can all agree that small businesses
Can you
are the
pull the
backbone.
mic closer to you, sir?
I think we can all agree that small businesses are the backbone of any city's economic growth. And I think with the partnership that we've been able to establish with Councilwoman Parker and other members of the City Council, we've been able to pull this program together, which hopefully, whatever you don't know, at the end of this testimony, you'll be able to ask questions and find out. I want to thank City Council for the resounding support we have received since we launched the program in December of 2016. Many council members have been graduation speakers and written reference letters for applicants, and your staff have joined and led our outreach corridor walks. We are very grateful to each and every one of you. Based on the outcomes of this program, I am confident that City Council will continue to support this program as a key economic development driver in the city and as an integral part of the college's mission to grow Philadelphia by providing our business community with the tools to improve operations, grow revenue, and add more jobs. You will hear from 8 of the 120 businesses who have completed the Peer Learning Power Up program and how it helped their business improve or succeed. Their stories will paint a picture of how this program empowers individual business owners as they gain knowledge, skills, networks, and confidence, makes the local economy in Philadelphia stronger, moves Philadelphia toward a more equitable, diverse, resilient local economy. Power Up truly reflects the power that the city's college has on transforming and aiding Philadelphia's economy. By taking this program around the city, we have been successful in delivering resources to businesses that likely would not seek assistance elsewhere. We have made this program a collaborative approach, working in conjunction with the city's Commerce Department, PIDC, the Free Library, SCORE, and over 40 partner community and business organizations. Since launching this program, we have held 7 cohorts with 120 businesses completing our peer learning program at all of our 3 regional centers, our main campus, and a satellite location in South Philadelphia. These businesses represent 39 of 48 Philadelphia zip codes and come from all 10 city council districts. 49% of our peer learning participants are located on designated commercial corridors. Over 60% are in low-income census tracts. 84% of the businesses are minority-owned, and 71% are women-owned. These businesses represent 224 full-time employees, 171 part-time employees, and 89 temporary workers. The businesses represent all industries, from food, daycare, retail, service, salons, and other types of businesses. 60% of our business owners have less than a bachelor's degree. Our businesses rent, own, and run businesses out of their home. These 120 businesses represent 1 year to 8 or more years in business. Just recently, we graduated a business owner who had been operating for over 50 years. I think Councilman Green was there when we celebrated that young man's success. He graduated reinvigorated to upgrade his store facade. Based on 1-year follow-up surveys of the 46 businesses who went through the program in 2017, we know 50% increased sales, 56% hired new employees, 44% increased net profit, several opened a second location, obtained grants, and obtained loans from partner organizations, 62% secured significant contracts, and 38% improved their credit scores. You will hear more from eConsult about how this translates into an even deeper economic impact and return on investment for the city. But our program doesn't stop there. For businesses who can devote significant time away from their businesses, we provide 3-hour workshops. Over 33 workshops have been held since the start of the program, with 433 businesses participating and over 800 attendees. Businesses have come from every city council district and from 47 of 48 zip codes in Philadelphia. Vice President DeFries will share more about the various innovations we have undertaken as part of this program. And I think, in the interest of time, I'll take a little executive privilege here and cut the last page and a half and turn it over to Vice President DeFries.
You've been here before. Good.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Carol DeFries. I'm the Vice President of Workforce and Economic Innovation for Community College of Philadelphia, and I also want to thank Chairman Jones and Vice Chairman Parker for inviting us to present on the Power Up program. And I'm pleased to talk a little bit about the innovations for our award-winning program. We recently received the Greater Philadelphia Social Innovations Award for the program, 3rd place for social mobility, so we were very pleased about that. And I also want to acknowledge and thank the members of my team from Power Up who've helped craft, implement, and smoothly operate this dynamic entrepreneurship program. It includes members of Power Up staff who are present today and others within my division, and there are also members from the college, who we work hand in hand with, from our marketing and communications office and our finance office, who are here today. So I just really want to thank them for all that they do to make this an exceptional program. We also included, as part of the design of this program, a small business advisory committee meeting, and that included PIDC and Commerce, the Philadelphia Association of CDCs, members of Councilwoman Parker's staff, various members of other business support organizations, and also staff from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program and the creation, and they really helped provide the feedback in how we structured the program. We really felt that we could, with our regional centers throughout Philadelphia, our main campus, and then also creating a South Philadelphia satellite location, that we could reach deeper into the community and get to businesses that wouldn't otherwise normally receive these services. And we really wanted to focus, again, on the low-income communities, the commercial corridors, and neighborhood-based businesses, because we were not interested in, doing a lot of the great services that already exist from many of the phenomenal business support organizations. So we really wanted to fill a niche in Philadelphia. And we have two core programs. The first that we've talked about is the workshops. We create 3-hour workshops. It only requires a business owner to spend 3 hours of their time once a week, and we've done that throughout Philadelphia at each of the different locations. And you heard Dr. Generals talk a lot about that particular program and the results there. The other part of that program is the peer learning program, where we bring businesses together to learn from one another, their experiences, and to build one another up. That's a 10-week program, 30 hours. We just transitioned that to a 12-week program and 36 hours based on the feedback that we were getting from the businesses that have gone through the cohort. And then also, one of the accomplishments, in addition to several of the metrics that you've already heard, we designed this so that we were hopeful that many of the businesses that could qualify for the 10,000 Small Businesses program would be able to then go on into that program. And so far, we've had 2 that have completed and graduated from the program, and we currently have 2 that are in the existing cohort right now. So we've had 4 now that have gone from Power Up into the 10,000 Small Businesses program, so we're very excited about that. And we talked a lot about the innovations that are part of this, and we built this program so that we could learn as we went along and build certain aspects of the program to respond to specific needs that we saw emerging from the program. So with our partner organizations, we've taken a lot of the workshops out into the community. We've hosted workshops in restaurants, in barber salons, in libraries. So we've had over 25 workshops, community-based workshops, with our partners such as Esperanza, Entrepreneur Works, North 5th Street Revitalization Project, and many others, and we're excited about that. We've seen in the workshops, we've seen a lot of startup businesses come in eager for knowledge. And as a result of that, we partnered with Mount Airy USA to create the Philly iHub program, where we're also, we helped develop the curriculum for that program, and we provide an instructor and facilitator for that program. 17 businesses have completed that, and there are 31 in the current cohort that they're running right now. We launched an industry best practices program where we try to take a deep dive into a specific industry and provide additional best practices and knowledge, and we focused on the child care industry in this we just launched it in October. And so we had 23 businesses go through that program. It represented 30 locations, 140 employees, and they were every kind of business owner, from a home-based childcare to 1 to 2, 3, and 4-star childcare centers that went through that program. And our goal is to create similar programs that focus on the food industry and also on the beauty industry. We know education is a continuous cycle, so we have also offered scholarships to the businesses that have completed the peer learning program to take advantage of the continuing education offerings that the college has. So they've been able to take classes, QuickBooks, social media classes, and others like that. But that's a lot of accomplishments in the past, and I want to talk to you about what's going on right now. Tonight, we are going to host the third of our fourth workshop at the Northeast Regional Center. Tomorrow, 21 businesses in the West Philadelphia cohort will have their first of 2 marketing classes. We are working with the Office of Immigrant Affairs to host this workshop on social media strategy in Spanish with partners from AFRICOM, Finanta, and the Southwest CDC. We have 6 community-based workshops in the works for March and April. And of course, I invite you all to the graduation of our West Philadelphia cohort on April 3rd. And then we start the process for selecting Northeast Regional cohort, and then we also start the South Philadelphia workshops in May. So I'm very proud to say that the program participants represent the tapestry of Philadelphia's small businesses and are really, truly wonderful building blocks to the city's future growth. And it fills me with pride when I see that video. It fills me with pride when I see all of the businesses, as Councilman Green mentioned. You run into these businesses every day, and they reinforce absolutely how much they're contributing, how passionate they are to growing Philadelphia, how passionate they are to growing their own businesses, and it also reinforces very much that the college is of the community, and that's very heartening to me, and I'm very proud of all that we've done in this program. Thank you.
Thank you. So, coming from a background, Councilman Green is a banker, former banker. All of us have business charters within our district that we fight for. This program, having heard it today, but also having the privilege of being a graduation speaker, takes a deeper dive into how to be successful. And Councilwoman Parker was talking to me about the little things, like how to establish a good banking relationship with bank accounts, how to deal with e-commerce, most of the procurement opportunities, matter of fact, all of the procurement opportunities offered with the city of Philadelphia, you have to do online now. Wow. You can't just walk up and do a bid. You have to respond electronically. And taking small businesses up a level is important. When I think about your graduating class that included Dr. Champion, who is been for the past at least decade a dentist in my district. If you ever go up 63rd, he's the big tooth on his lawn. I don't know how he got that sign approved. I wasn't councilman then, but I'm glad he got it done. But he was in your class, and he's been successful when he talked about how you don't, because you've done a thing so long a certain way, how you can, through your colleagues and peer mentoring, learn to do it better. Learn to do it better. The other thing I just heard, if I understood it correctly, you do field trips to different locations.
Yes.
So in my district, there's the Business and Technology Center on Parkside. It probably has the largest number of small, minority, female, and disabled businesses in one building in the city. And it's a treasure. If you don't go to a place like that, kick the tires, you never know it exists. So I encourage you to do more of that kind of activity, and I'm sure that each of these council people up here can tell you small hidden treasures. I've always gone to the bocce courts in your district and had pizza in a brick oven. And so there are little places in the Northeast. There is it's in the mall up there, and you can get, it's like a Jerry's Corner environment up there. And they have the fresh turkey products from Lancaster that they have lines for. But if you know about these locations and marry your business to those locations, you can use the synergy to be very successful. So I applaud getting out, not just looking at a book, going out kicking the tires to see where your business location might thrive. So I really I really applaud that.
And thank you, Councilman Jones. We're eager to work with all of the city council members on finding those locations where we can take this program and the workshops that we have, that they're designed exactly for that purpose. So we're very eager to work with you on that.
To you, and community has a special niche, special role to play. You are, on a rung of education, and I'm not going to put Harvard ahead of you, but some people might, you know what I mean? I wouldn't, but
You shouldn't.
more people get their start, grassroots start, whether you're talking about former employees or employees of the city of Philadelphia deciding to go back to school, but now I'm hearing people who want to take that leap of faith and become entrepreneurs are using you as well. We're just thankful that you're a strategic partner and able to blend the academic with the practical. That is unique. And that's what I have to say. Councilwoman?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, I'll get over this.
Well, so one, I just wanted to just make sure that I heard you accurately, Dr. Generals. You said that these businesses represent 39 of 48 zip codes in your testimony. That is a
That's
yeoman's job. When we talked about or described the vision for this program, we thought about the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, and I'm pleased that they're here and they're going to be testifying today, talking about their pro-growth strategy. But usually when we think chamber and pro-growth, we immediately think Center City. And if that pro-growth strategy doesn't make its way into the veins of our neighborhoods, on commercial corridors and corners in every neighborhood in the city of Philadelphia, to me, it's not much that we could call pro-growth about it. But this program helps to provide that backroom technical support that is not traditionally available. So I want to say thank you. I also want you to, one, I was also happy when you talked about this special 7-week series for existing child care center owners. When we were working on the formation of the PHL and pre-K, aside from the right thing of providing access to a quality early childhood education for 3- and 4-year-olds in the city of Philadelphia, I constantly thought about our home-based daycare providers, many of them who are African American women who are small business owners, and to know that you have sort of, carved out and understand that that is a group of entrepreneurs because of its the growing market and the growing demand for quality childcare, that you've carved out a program that they specifically can benefit from. Just delve a little bit more for me, if you will, into how that has impacted those providers.
Well, I think you're precisely right that many of these small businesses are islands to themselves in their neighborhoods and not necessarily aware of the opportunities that could be provided to them and some of the, quite frankly, some of the regulatory needs that they needed to be aware of in order to be successful business people. So I think, ultimately this strategy of going into the neighborhoods, into the commercial corridors to identify and to provide exposure to the services that we were hoping to be able to provide was a good match for what you laid out from the beginning when we first started talking about this, and that a lot of these pro-growth or business growth programs overlooked many of the corridors, overlooked many of the small businesses, and overlooked entities that may not have even, in some people's minds, be considered a business, like the small daycare provider. So I think there was that. And then, of course, the city's push towards providing universal daycare, that put us in the forefront in terms of providing the training. And we knew that it was more that there were legions of daycare providers that were not counted, not viewed as an integral part of that of the services that would ultimately need to be developed to provide the universal daycare. So I don't know if you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I just, actually, the woman who was profiled in our video, she's looking to expand and open up a second location. We know that many of the daycare providers, I think we've had 16% of the 120 business owners were daycare providers or some form of child care center, and several have increased their star level. Others have worked to maximize their enrollments so that they're serving more or know how to serve more individuals and kids in their neighborhood. We know that they've improved their business practices, and they've grown their overall revenues. So, I mean, there's a wide variety of impacts just from that one segment alone. And you know that not only are they businesses, but they're serving their residents in their community and the children. And so that's, all of the benefit to that as well.
Before I get to my last question, and Mr. Chairman, I feel always a special connection to the people in the organization who do the work, because when you start from the ground up and you do the work, you respect the people who are on the ground doing it. Have to say to Kitty and to Chris and to Selma and Raquel, thank you all so very much. If you want to know where do they recruit and how do people know about this program, aside from, going on the CCP's website, it's because they are at every community-based meeting that you could think of with this big power up sign, and they're walking around, telling people, do you bake at home? Do you sell this on the side? If you do, then you should participate in this program. So I wanted to say thank you to them. And finally, I know Councilwoman Blackwell and both Jones will appreciate this. Philadelphia, I think one of our greatest strengths is obviously our diversity. Councilwoman Janie Blackwell has been a leader in providing services to Philadelphia's African and Caribbean communities. I know I represent in the 9th Councilmanic District what was deemed as the most linguistically diverse neighborhood, not in the city of Philadelphia, but in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that is the Olney community. So when I describe the 9th District, Councilwoman Blackwell, I call us the mini United Nations. And so I'm pleased to hear you talk about this peer learning program and for Spanish, and also working on additional activities to reach the Asian community and the African and Caribbean communities and the Eastern Bloc business communities. Talk to us a little bit more about where you are in the plan, and I know you're developing it, but just if you will.
Yeah, so we're working with Finanta on...
Can you pull that a little closer?
Yeah. We're working with Finanta on a 8-week version of the peer learning program that would be, the curriculum is currently being translated into Spanish, and it would be working with businesses that Finanta currently are their clients, and so it would be helping them with a smaller version of the peer learning. As I mentioned, we're working with the Office of Immigrant Affairs on a Spanish language social media class. We've held classes with CMAC, which is the Asian community, one of the Asian community organizations, where they had interpreters in our workshops in Mandarin, Chinese, and in addition to that, we have been trying to reach into in the Northeast, the Russian language communities as well. So we're trying as much as possible to translate or provide interpreters that reach into those communities, because we know that they're very reluctant to come into the types of business support programs, just because, it's not necessarily their English is not their first language. So we're trying to come to them as opposed to having them come to us.
Well, thank you, and listen, I'll be waiting on that African Caribbean curriculum. Councilwoman Blackwell, what's the name of that restaurant where I go to get my poulet yassa from in your district? Kilimanjaro, and Councilwoman, they have the best poulet yassa in the world, so I want one, Councilwoman, in the 9th District, so hopefully we can send a business owner through your program and we can open a Kilimanjaro in the 9th.
We'll make sure Chris goes to that restaurant directly and recruit the person into our next program.
Well, I'm hungry. Councilman Dom?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Councilmember Parker, This is a great program, and your leadership's been amazing on this. I just have a few comments I wanted to make. 4 years ago, when I started to run for city council, I read the Pew Report, and I ripped out a page of the Pew Report. I kept it in my pocket for 4 straight years, this ratty thing I have in my pocket. It's my filing cabinet. But I want to bring it up because it's relevant. And the Pew Report says, ownership of businesses in the Philadelphia region, 78.8% white, 10% Asian, 2.4% black, 2.4%, which is terrible. This program, to a degree, addresses that issue. Last week in council, this whole body was in support of a resolution we introduced to mandate from the state to teach financial literacy, pre-K to 12th grade, to teach technology, including coding, pre-K to 12th grade, to teach 9th to 12th grade entrepreneurship courses in high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, that become feeders into your program, and to provide the ability for students in 9th to 12th grade to work 1 day a week in a job and go to school 4 days a week, almost like the Drexel Co-op for high schools, because that experience to me is invaluable. That is extremely important, and it can feed into this program. And I guess my question is, it seems that our budget for this is $800,000 roughly. And I don't want to take away eConsult's thunder, but I will say that their report is extremely powerful. The way I read the report is that we invest $800,000, and 3.5 times just the $800,000 comes back to the city in 10 years. I don't think there's one investment that we make where we invest $1 and $3.50 comes back in 10 years. That's an amazing, forget the investment though. How about changing the lives of people? I always said in my career, you make a living working. You create wealth owning. And that goes to that 2.4%. We need to create wealth, and this program does it. So from my perspective, my question to you is, $800,000 is great, but if we gave you $5 million, could you accommodate that and do it 6 times as good as you're doing now? Or what is that number?
He got excited.
So, yes. And yes. This program came about, with a lot of sweat equity, largely in part because of the councilwoman's push and tenacity, along with some of the staff here at the college. There were a lot of phone calls. We had to then go to the other side of the house to negotiate with our business VPs to figure out how this was going to work, how we could afford beyond the $800,000 to subsume this into the college. So it does cost, and the results, I think, are really the result of the hard work of the people that work there. But if we want to grow it exponentially, it will cost dollars and cents. This is one aspect. We're starting to tinker around the entrepreneurial, the startup aspect of this. There are some aspects, and Carol can speak to it, but this is basically for businesses that are already kind of along the way. Our goal is to begin looking at how we can encourage, through entrepreneurial training, folks that haven't even thought about a business yet, both in the non-credit side, which is workforce development and innovation, as well as embedding it into our business curriculum. So we are making some small changes, but in order to grow all of that, it takes faculty, it takes staff, it takes equipment, and what did you say, $5 million would enable us to be amongst the leaders. This is not a new idea, a new phenomenon. There are community colleges that are out front in this area of entrepreneurship and business growth and really being tied into the economic strategies of the city. We are trying to get there. We're not there, but $5 million will certainly help us get there.
I guess my question is, though, if we increased your budget 6 times, could we get 6 times the results? Do you have the capacity to handle it? That's my question.
If you increased our budget 6 times, it would increase our capacity to deliver 6 times.
2 other quick questions. I've now paid for 4 high schools, and I have business leaders paid for 21 high schools, where we're teaching coding in the 10th grade to 15 children per high school, public high schools. We have 25 high schools right now. Sylvester Mobley from Coded by Kids. We have 375 kids right now learning coding in our public schools. My question is, instead of them getting a job when they graduate, could they go to community college and figure out how they could open their own business in technology instead of working for someone else? Is there a program at community that could take the technological skills they're gaining in high school and teach them how to open their own business?
And the non-credit?
Entrepreneurship. Well, we have an entrepreneurship proficiency certificate program that's part of a stackable credential that goes into an associate's degree in business administration. But in addition to that, we have all kinds of different programs to help businesses learn about how to be a startup, et cetera. So we have a Center for Small Business Training, and that supports startups. So there are plenty of other ways that we support startups as well. I think so. Certainly, my goal has always been to work with students at Community College of Philadelphia and provide some level of an incubator for them. We have a student that's or a graduated student who will testify later today, who can talk to the entrepreneurship that exists at Community College for our students. I know many of them do run their own businesses because it's an imperative for many of our students, because they have to work at the same time while they're attending. So they often do that through running their own business.
So what I'd like to do, not today, is I'd like to have a meeting with Sylvester and somebody from the community college to talk about how we can accelerate them into your program, maybe have some of your teachers even come out in their senior year and explain to them this opportunity so we connect those two together. One last question. In the prisons in Philadelphia, back in May, I challenged the Free Library to teach financial literacy in the prison. I paid for a course. I went to the graduation in December. It was amazing. People who were returning into society took the course, graduation. It was just amazing. In a few weeks, we're starting the first coding class for 15 people coming out of the prison this year, returning citizens. My question to you is, could we put together a program that could teach returning citizens how to open their own businesses, and I'll find the funding for it.
Yes.
Don't worry about the money.
Yes, as you know, we have a reentry program.
But you have to go to the prison to teach it.
That we don't have at this point, but we do have a reentry program for
That's what we need to work
formerly
on.
incarcerated. But we could, this was before my time. I know that we used to be in the prisons, and there have been a period of times when the college was in the prisons, and for a variety of reasons, we felt the focus should be on returning citizens. But we're revisiting that concept, and certainly, with your support, we'd be willing to revisit it. We do have a new director for the reentry program, so he's a pretty aggressive person whose training is in that field, and so I think the timing might be right to be able to look at this to see how we could
We'll
partner.
do that after this meeting, but let's get together after
All
this
right.
and talk about those issues. Thank you very
Sure.
much.
Thank you.
Councilwoman. This is a great
Thank
program.
you.
Thank you.
$5 million, I think you can find.
This has been a productive morning, right?
Councilman Tallenberger.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and I just wanted to make a very clear point that I learned long ago. Also, Dr. Generals, I thank you and your staff, and Mr. Freese, thank you for everything you've done. But just to pick up on what was said, for 23 years, I ran the Northeast Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce. The most difficult thing for a small business to do is make a hire. A very difficult thing would be to hire someone who was recently incarcerated. With best intentions, there's just hesitation. But to follow up with my Councilman Dom has just said, to teach entrepreneurship in the prisons so they can create their own job is very, very powerful, very uplifting, and I think we hit the target right on the head, provided the support is there, and I think it would be under your tutelage and guidance. It is something that all businesses would have a reluctance. They may not tell you, but it's there.
Right.
But if we can train people that are returning to the workforce, the basis of business and entrepreneurship, where they can start their own business, we can do great things. was my comment. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Green.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to ask a couple questions in reference to the partnership between the city and city-related entities like PIDC. I know that there's a referral perspective in addition to the funding, which we've been talking about earlier. But I was curious in reference to what other types of connection between the POWER program and the city are there available? Are people learning about programs the city has in reference to some of the initiatives that we started recently? For example, we started the Philadelphia Business Lending Network a few years ago to provide access to credit, which is one of the big issues that small businesses have in reference to growing their businesses. And I wanted to get some perspective of how the integration between the PIDC, Commerce, and others with the program.
Well, we have representatives from both Commerce and PIDC today to talk about that coordination. Certainly, in addition to referrals into the program, we go out with both, staff from both organizations to talk to businesses, to do outreach. We've hosted joint workshops together. We've certainly talked about the resources. One of the reasons why we went from the 10-week to the 12-week transition for the peer learning was because we wanted to be able to provide a resource panel. So that's been added. What we were doing in the past was we were having a separate workshop as the resource panel where we were inviting members of PIDC and Commerce to talk at that workshop and not embedding it as part of the peer learning. And we realized that that was a mistake and we wanted to embed that as part of the peer learning component. And so that now exists in the current cohort in West Philadelphia. And we also make referrals back to those organizations in terms of interest in storefront grants and loans, et cetera, for those who are qualified. So we know that we've had a couple who have been talking to PIDC about potential financing for expansion or purchasing of their properties. We've talked a lot about the storefront improvement grants that Commerce has, and also potentially the forgivable loan for the equipment as well.
Yeah, the reason I raise the question is that one of the things I've been talking about for a number of years is that the Commerce Department, is specifically in reference to the outreach for small businesses, is underfunded. I think the staff is too much on their plate in reference to truly reach out to the entire city of Philadelphia. And though I would definitely like to see additional resources for this program, at least maintaining the level of funding, if not increasing, but also I think the Commerce Department needs additional resources for staffing so they can do even more outreach and get the word out regarding this phenomenal program. One of the challenges that often happens in city government, and not just city government here in Philadelphia, but the public sector as a whole, is that we have these great programs, but often people don't know about the programs. And that's part and parcel because we don't really have the resources to market the programs like other institutions. When you think of a Stagecoach, you think of Wells Fargo. When you think of green and white and baseball, you think of Citizens Bank Park. And that's because they do marketing. And I think part of the challenge that not just the city of Philadelphia, but the public sector often has is not having the resources needed to really market these programs so that way we can really penetrate in communities around the city of Philadelphia about some of the phenomenal programs we have like Power Up or the Philadelphia Business Lending Network or storefront improvement programs, and that the staff are doing the best they can, but they're also just 1, 2, 3, or 4 people, and we have a city of 1.5 million plus. And so I think that's one of the other challenges we've had historically in the public sector is that we don't have enough resources to really get the word out about these programs, and that's really a lack of investment that we're making, because when we make that investment in these type of programs to get the word out, more and more people will participate, which will grow those businesses and provide more jobs for our city, which impacts poverty.
Totally agree. We've been fortunate that we have had the ability to promote this program, but we've worked very closely with members of the Commerce Department Business Support staff to do the corridor walks, because we know that we have to go face to face and meet with every business to encourage them to come to these programs. And that does take a lot of time and a lot of shoe leather walking the corridors, and Commerce has been right there with us in that regard.
Okay, Councilman Tolliver, and then we're going to ask the next panel to come up because we're excited, like you're excited, not as excited as you about that 5 minutes, but we're relatively enthusiastic.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. And Councilwoman Parker, I really want to thank you for your leadership on this program, because I think it's very, very, very important. And Mr. Freese, I had the opportunity, and I wanted to mention it earlier, but I only want to make that short, and this will be equally short, but more to the point. You have a very good program that I happen to have a chance to attend. It was ran by Chris Hess up in the Northeast, which is all part of this program. And I would have to say it was absolutely excellent. It was on, social media and Facebook, and it was really, really true. My parents were immigrants from Germany in the 1930s. And if this program would have existed to help them, they could have even done better than they did. I think they did pretty good, but could even do better. And the fact that you're including other languages, and I'll give it from another perspective because I'm very lucky to be bilingual. I didn't speak English first. Although I was born in the United States, my first language was German. The fact of the matter is continuing that education to include people, but also that the people know more languages as a whole. If every Philadelphian knew one more language, we could have conversations that we never dreamed of, and with that come great ideas. And I would have to say a little thing happened in Councilwoman Parker's district that I was invited to speak at an opening of a row of stores, and I was very, very honored to do so. But the minister came and spoke about and gave the prayer and talked about oxtail soup. Well, I don't know how much any people know about oxtail soup. It's an African Caribbean dish, but it's also a very German dish. And I have been looking to find oxtail soup for a long time. I was actually moved by it. My point is, it also brings us together. There are so many communities that are more alike than they ever realized, but that realization comes through education and discussion. And right now, because of Councilwoman Parker, I know where to get my oxtail soup in Philadelphia. But keep up the good work. God bless you all. And because I know this system can work, and I'm there to help and support it in any way I can. Thank you.
My colleagues are killing me with this food. One more time, Councilman Don.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. I want to follow up with Councilmember Green's comments about marketing. And if you could somehow do a group email list to everyone who has an interest, who signs up, as to new restaurants that are opening, new retail that's opening, what kind of services they provide. Because until I read through the book that you provided, I really didn't know all these different new companies. I myself, every weekend, I try to go to one new restaurant I haven't been to in Philadelphia. Last Friday night, I was at Rhythm and Brunch at 6511 Elmwood. So I'll go, and I think my colleagues will too, to support them. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, when I looked through the work...
Where's that restaurant? You're getting us hungry, but can you give us a location?
6511 Elmwood.
Okay, got it.
In the workshop topics included, I have one suggestion. You talk about negotiating a storefront lease. I would also like to see you add in there purchasing the real estate, and I'll tell you why. Most businesses that are successful are those that own their own real estate, whether it's McDonald's, which was really a real estate company, or all these big department stores that went out of business. It was the real estate that kept them, and it's the real estate that lasts for the lifetime. The business has usually a finite amount of time. So instead of them paying rent to someone else who's going to make their money, see if there's opportunities through the city or whatever where they could actually own their own storefront and control their destiny. Because most businesses start out with some landlord improvement, and in 10 years, there's no more landlord improvement, and they raise their rent and they can't stay there. If they control their destiny, they can stay there. I would add that as a component. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Don.
Coming from someone
And
who
we'll
has
come looking
some-
for you to teach that course.
No, it's okay. Wait a minute. Coming from someone who has some small experience at
Right.
owning real estate. Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Williams, can you read thank you for your testimony. It was an inspiration.
Thank you.
Can you read the next panel to testify, Ms. Williams?
Michael Banks, Jonathan Williams, James Betterson, Matt Reagan, and Pam Henshaw.
Come on up. Come up to the table. Feel free to summarize Like for real? I see one page. I like that one. Yeah, I see a whole laptop opening up. I'm scared. Yeah, I'm really afraid now. Yeah. But in any order that you'd like, please pull the mic to you. State your name for the stenographer and the record.
So, good morning. My name
Welcome.
is, thank you. Good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Commerce and Economic Development Committee. My name is Michael Banks, and I represent the African American Chamber of Commerce of PA, New Jersey, and Delaware, where I serve as the President CEO and proud graduate of the Community College of Philadelphia. I am here today to testify on Resolution 18115, introduced by the Vice Chairman, Councilwoman Sherelle Parker. And I'll be very brief. The first thing I want to talk about is how this program has made the African American Chamber of Commerce stronger. And I think that that can be seen in a program that we were able to launch, which was called our Tech Tuesday series. We launched that last year for the first time in the history of the African American Chamber of Commerce. And the purpose of that program was to really focus on the changing role and the impact that technology has on business owners. As you know, when you're a small business, you're typically understaffed. It's typically a sole proprietorship. And the ability to implement technology, not only does it reduce your overhead, but it also allows you to do some things that you can overcome without having the proper staffing today. As it relates to our membership, two of the programs I'll talk very briefly about that we were able to introduce was one program that looked at the role of cryptocurrency. A lot of folks are talking about it, but there's not much information as it relates to how it can impact your business. But in addition to the cryptocurrency component, the technology that supports it, which is the blockchain technology. So we were able to have members come out to learn all about that technology. It was really exciting, so much so that we're going to continue it this year. But in addition to that program, there was also one I thought was most impactful, which was a marketing boot camp. Because as a small business owner, one of the hardest things to do, or one of the biggest obstacles to overcome, is how do people find your business? So what this marketing boot camp allowed our members to do was find ways to not only use social media and their website, but other channels, and make sure that their messaging was getting out to their ideal client, and make sure that people were able to find their business. And then lastly, I'll close with what the community college is known for with their mantras, which is paths to possibilities. In addition to our members benefiting and able to do business with one another, we also had a person that presented at the program who was able to land an adjunct professorship at the community college, and it has been a great opportunity for him. So for the African American Chamber of Commerce, I'll say this program, like we talked about earlier, it has had been like a tenfold investment for us. So I thank you for your time today.
Good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Commerce and Economic Development Committee. My name is James Betterson, owner of Better Clean Laundry and former Philadelphia Eagle in the years 1977 and 78. Go Eagles, right? I'm here today to testify on resolution number 181-115, introduced by Councilwoman Sherelle Parker. Better Clean Laundry will celebrate its third year in business next month, and is the second business that I created. My first business lasted 10 years and funded the transition into this latest venture. This business, though, struggled early, and I was not able to pay the bills. I started to seek out ways to become more business savvy. Through the Northeast Community College of Philadelphia, I found out about the Power Up program and applied to improve my overall business aptitude with a special interest in marketing ideas and ways to improve my underperforming 2-year-old laundry business at that time. The fact that it was free to qualified business owners was unbelievable. I was excited after being accepted. During the 10-week course, a lot of great information was taught and discussed. The format of discussing different subject matter every couple of weeks was very effective. In the first 2 weeks, a tactical improvement plan was introduced to analyze your business and devise goals for improved performance. A good plan included detailed action steps, deadlines, and accountability. I also learned great info from both the financial and marketing segments. During the course, I enjoy being around and listening to other business owners like myself talk about various successes and failures in business. At course end, I felt re-energized and ready to improve my business. After graduating from Power Up program, participants also received the great benefit of 2 free classes at Community College of Philadelphia and 12 free coaching sessions. I used my 2 free classes to improve my knowledge of QuickBooks and to learn business concepts around social media. My coaching sessions are ongoing and something I enjoy each month. Recent sessions have resulted in creating core demographic information to help me target my marketing efforts. I attended Power Up Cohort 4 classes at Northeast Community College campus, which began in January 2018. My business grew 37% in 2018 over 2017. Now, while I don't attribute all that growth to attending Power Up, but I will say the experience helped me by affirming the things I was doing right, correcting the things I was doing wrong, and energizing me with more confidence. I would recommend the Power Up program for any small business owner and urge City Council to continue to support it. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Committee of Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Pam Henschel, and I'm the president of the Greater Northeast Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today to testify on resolution number 181115. I want to thank Councilwoman Sherelle Parker for introducing this resolution. Our organization represents 465 companies and over 41,000 employees. We enjoy a great partnership with Community College of Philadelphia and collaborate with the college, offering events, programs, and drives activity to the Northeast Regional Center. As president of the Chamber, I'm also a proud graduate of Cohort 14 of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. During my interview process with the Goldman Sachs leadership, was asked, why would a Chamber of Commerce want to apply for the program? Well, it was twofold. We have 2 members, actually, of our organization here today. Matt is one and James is another. But to participate with the program, it gave me a base knowledge and an understanding of what the program was, so we can go out and we can help solicit and encourage companies, members of the Chamber, to participate. And also, a Chamber of Commerce, which my colleague here from the African American Chamber can attest to, we are a small business. So therefore, we have the same skills and same knowledge base, and we have the same challenges that a small business experiences. So as a graduate of that program, it gave me a really great foundation for me as a professional to be able to grow the organization and be very specific and focused. Because I'm a proponent of continuing education, I encouraged my colleague to attend the Power Up for Business program. In fact, it was James' cohort. And for exactly the same reason, and Matt's cohort, that's right, you're the same, I apologize. For exactly the same reason. So for as an organization and as a chamber leadership, when we understand the programs, we are better to solicit and encourage small business owners and entrepreneurs to continue their education and to embrace the opportunities the Community College of Philadelphia, in particular with Power Up Your Business, offers. A small business owner, they know their craft very well. They are an entrepreneur, they're fearless, but it's the encouragement, I think James alluded to, where you are supported, you understand what you knew, and you're surprised of the knowledge base that you have, and then you can self-correct on what you're learning through either one of the programs, Power Up or 10KSB. The Power Up Your Business tools that is offered for the small businesses is paramount. It invests in the city. It invests in Philadelphia. As graduates of the community college, both in the 10KSB programs, that we had, in fact, I was going to mention Matt, but I'll refrain. Our members, Matt has applied for the 10KSB and was first initially denied, and then attended the Power Up Your program, and now is also a graduate of 10KSB too. So he's one of the 4 succession plans. So I'm not only here to share my own experience, I'm here to speak from the Northeast Philadelphia. and I'm here to speak for the small businesses within the community. I cannot emphasize enough the value of Power Up Your Business has to offer small business owners. Entrepreneurial economy data reported in the 2014 census indicates that 80.62% of businesses in the U.S. have 1 to 4 employees. Power Up Your Business continues to support those small businesses and again invests in the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say two of my favorite people, Al Tallenberger and Marla Hamilton. I admire them a lot, as everyone up here. Al met me on July 7th to run my business. I met Marla at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. Okay, my bad. All right, good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Committee of Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Matthew James Reagan, and I'm the Director at Venture Valley Children's Learning Center. We are located in the beautiful Burlham section of Northeast Philadelphia, Councilman Tallenberger's old stomping grounds. I'm here today to testify on resolution number 181115. I want to thank Councilman Sherrill Parker for introducing this resolution. We've been in business for 11 years now and have learned through those years that knowledge is power. And I applied to the Power Up program because I wanted that power. We were tired of being powerless and the struggles were getting old. What do we often say as we get older? If I only known then what I know now, right? Well, that applies to this program. Because if I had the power I have now, I'd have multiple locations by now, and that is no exaggeration. What I have learned through the 10-week course was that I wasn't alone in my struggles. Businesses from all around Philadelphia were in my cohort, and we all seemed eager to learn what was about to be presented to us. I believe we all expressed our concerns in moving our businesses forward and staying relevant. I don't think many classes were missed as a whole. We have tried several times from different banks and institutions to get a loan to purchase the building in which we were leasing, and every time we were turned down. My wife didn't miss a payment for 5 years when we applied for those loans. I thought it'd be no problem to get a loan, but boy was I wrong. I learned through this course that we weren't bankable. We wrote too much off on our taxes. I learned that even though we have no problems with our enrollment, that we should still advertise to brand our name in the community for future enrollment. These are just a couple of the value information I've received through this program to make me more powerful. I don't know if our program has changed how we do business as a whole, but we have definitely put what we have learned to good use in redefining our business practices. One of those practices is putting together a good team and moving forward, like the team that was assembled at Power Up through Kitty and Pearl. Watching how smoothly they work together only solidified the importance of running a program that is only as good as their weakest link and the importance of good management. Just by watching them in action was enlightening. The personal stories of the instructors and their real-life experience, in my opinion, are priceless. The one thing these good qualified candidates had in common, the story was Ron about how he, one of the things was hiring somebody who plays sports, right? As a team member. That's who you want on your team. That was one of the stories I got from Ron. All right. When I first signed up for this program, we were in the process of negotiating a price with our landlord, purchasing the building we were residing in. I do believe after meeting with one of my mentors and learning a few things from her that I was able to negotiate, knowing I wasn't overpaying for the building. In writing our business plan, I used the resources given to us from Power Up to provide more detailed financial report along with the 3-year projection that I believe helped us in securing a loan. I'm happy to report that we are now owners of the property in which we leased for 10 years. I no longer have to say, if only I knew then what I know now. And I can honestly say it's because of the knowledge I gained from this program that I can say that. Knowledge is power, and Power Up Your Business provides small businesses with that knowledge to be powerful. After all, small businesses are the engine of our economy and needs every resource to succeed. After completing the Power Up program, I did the industry-specific Child Care Owner Series, along with Goldman Sachs' 10,000 Small Businesses. I am thankful for these opportunities and look forward to applying my power in the community I serve and beyond by creating jobs one at a time. And I have the confidence and knowledge to pounce on the opportunity for growth once it presents itself. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Jonathan Williams, and I'm here today to testify on Resolution Number 18115. I want to thank Councilwoman Sherelle Parker for introducing this resolution. I'm here today to testify on behalf of CCP and the Power Up program. I started my cleaning business when I was 16 years old. I started out only doing snow removal in my neighborhood and have now grown to take care of commercial cleaning contracts. I've had many ups and downs along the way, but having the Power Up program was the boost I needed. At the time I signed up for the program, I was 3 classes away from graduation, but I stopped going to school to focus on my business full time. My reason for doing this was not wanting to go to school, my reason for not wanting to go to school was that I felt school taught me how to run a corporation and not helping me as a 20-year-old entrepreneur facing problems in my small business. When the Power Up opportunity came about, I found my solution. I heard realistic answers to my questions, and the class was small enough for it to have a personal feel. Having this opportunity was actually my inspiration to sign up for classes again, and I'm proud to say that I graduated with my associate's degree in business. Furthermore, being in the environment of other aspiring business owners, I was inspired to do better in my own business and was able to network with them. After completing the Power Up program course, I have now changed the way I do business. I now have a website. I have put away dedicated time to improving my marketing and using the skills Power Up taught me. In addition to my cleaning business, I've been running an after-school program once a week for the last 2 years, trying to teach 5th through 8th graders that they too can become business owners, because I realized the need for students even younger than high school to be exposed to business. I believe that if somebody would have sat me down and really explained to me what business was when I was 11, I could have started then. Seriously though. I believe in order to see a change in young people's mindset, business is the way out. The Power Up program was my helping hand, and it could be another young entrepreneur's hand. Hence, when I was asked to speak on behalf of CCP and my experience with the Power Up program, it was a no-brainer, and I wish that when it comes to funding, Council believes the same. Thank you for your time.
Chair recognizes Councilman Taubenberger.
Madam Chair, thank you. I just want to thank this panel for sharing with what they're doing, how they learned, and how important this program is to them. And Ms. Henshaw, you couldn't be absolutely more correct. The Chamber of Commerce, even though it sounds large and powerful, is very much a small business in all aspects. So I thank you for your dedication to the Chamber and what you're doing there. I'm still a member, if anyone wants to know. I am a member of the Northeast Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce and will continue as long as Pamela Henshaw is there. And I want to thank you all for taking the time to share, because I think this program, you have proven, can make a great difference in this city. Thank you. Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. I too just want to say thank you to each of you for your testimony, to both Pam at the Northeast Chamber and to Michael Banks from the African American Chamber. Your voices affirm for us that this pro-growth strategy that we've been hearing relative to small business and investment in our city, you help affirm for us that it's getting into neighborhoods and to constituencies that we feel have often been left out of the conversation when we talk about pro-growth strategies for businesses. So I want to thank you. I want to say to Jonathan, you are a rock star. I mean, this is 16 years old, snow removal, 3 credits or 3 classes away. Then you do go back to finish, but you need some real-time recommendations and guidance about how to grow your bottom line for what you're doing right now. And you actually have the stick-to-itiveness to stay with it, but you rocked our world when you found time right now, even in the midst of running your business, to pay it forward, even one day a week. I mean, that's what we hope to achieve. And to both of you. Now, I didn't know you were a Philadelphia Eagle. I'm going home and tell my family I was with a famous person today, right? But again, the idea that even with all of your professionalism, your experience in life, that you found something valuable in this program is definitely worth noting, and something that makes us very proud. And James, when you mentioned that you couldn't believe the program was free, I just put in dollar signs. We made sure that money was not a barrier to entry. This council made sure that financing, because usually what would happen is if you had to pay, if you had to come out of your pocket to pay, no matter how nominal the fee is, you would find a way to invest those dollars back into your business, because you, as a business owner, you always need something. But because money was not a barrier to entry, you all took advantage of the program, and you just make us so proud. So thank you so very much. We appreciate your testimony. Will the clerk call the next panel, please?
Nazara Sabri, Ann Bover Nevins, Michaela Racine, Keith McMenamin, Sherlisa Bido, and Patricia Arcilla.
As the next panel is coming forward, I just want to continue to echo the sentiments of Chairman Jones. We actually have a copy of each of the testimonies that you have submitted to the committee. The stenographer has those and will actually put all of your testimony on the record, so feel free to summarize or skip through your testimony as needed. And you can proceed, and we can start with Ms. Sabri.
Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Jones, Vice Chair, Councilwoman Parker, members of the Committee of Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Nazara Sabri, and I am the Director of the Office of Business Services with the Philadelphia Commerce Department. I am here today to offer testimony in support of the Power Up Your Business program at the Community College of Philadelphia. I want to start by saying that Power Up has been an essential resource for small businesses in Philadelphia since its launch at the end of 2016. Our department has been a supporter of this program from the beginning, promoting it to neighborhood businesses every chance we get. Our staff members often do direct outreach on commercial corridors, walking door to door with CCP to promote this program to the small businesses. Additionally, we regularly share information about Power Up in our social media postings and other electronic communications. Philadelphia's neighborhood commercial corridors are the lifeblood of the city. They are vital to our economy, and they are the center of our communities. We know that the local businesses are more likely to hire people from their neighborhoods, thus giving more Philadelphians quality jobs close to home. The combination of being low-cost, accessible, and flexible has led Power Up to be one of the more successful programs that our department has worked with. As a result, our business services managers in our office regularly refer neighborhood businesses to Power Up, as well as provide letters of support. One example that I like to share is that of Darlene Jones, a West Philadelphia-based entrepreneur who is here today. Darlene opened her first business, Star Fusion Restaurant, on 63rd Street, and later decided to open a second location. As she was preparing to open her new location, Star Fusion Express on 52nd and Parkside, the Office of Business Services worked with her and referred her to Power Up to receive assistance with the planning process. Darlene has since graduated the program and is expected to open the doors of her second location in the next few weeks. This expansion is creating several new jobs and will bring a quality sit-down dining experience to the North 52nd Street corridor. As Power Up Your Business continues to serve small businesses throughout Philadelphia, I am confident that the results we experience will be exponential. Small businesses are the backbone of our city, and these local entrepreneurs not only create jobs, they also generate local spending, provide gathering spaces for their communities, and bring a sense of pride to their neighborhoods. The team at Commerce is grateful to have such a great partner in the community college, and we stand ready to work with council and the college to keep the Power Up running strong. We believe these free, neighborhood-based resources are essential to Philadelphia's small businesses and the continued success of our city's commercial corridors. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith McMenamin, representing Philly Tech Help, and I'm here to testify on Resolution 181115, introduced by Councilwoman Parker. I applied to the Power Up Your Business program because I thought it was a unique opportunity to learn the intricacies of entrepreneurship. The timing was right for my schedule, the tuition was waived, and that was a key factor. And as a working professional, I've always had a sincere interest of running my own business and being a full-time entrepreneur. So I felt that was the reason why it was an opportunity I really couldn't pass up. So one of the main things I've learned is that I have a lot to learn about being an entrepreneur. The opportunity to learn and network with existing business owners led me to many eye-opening stories. And not all of them were great, so I had to take a step back and give additional deep thought if this is something I really wanted to do. And at the end of the course, I did decide that it is for me and it's worth the trials and tribulations and everything else that comes along with being an entrepreneur. So because of the program, I'm now actively tracking and analyzing customer data. I began utilizing social media marketing tools and now have a better understanding of the accounting and finance side of the business. I'm now also able to give a solid elevator pitch, and I'm slowly but steadily increasing the number of new clients per week. Thank you.
You have a famous last name if you're from Northwest Philadelphia.
And I am not related, and I get that all the time, but I love their wings. Put that on the record. I love their wings. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson Jones, Vice Chairperson Parker, and members of the committee. My name is Ann Bovaird-Nevins, and I am PIDC's Chief Strategy and Communications Officer. I'm here today to provide testimony regarding PIDC's engagement with the Power Up Your Business program. I think you are all familiar with PIDC's role as Philadelphia's Economic Development Corporation and our mission to drive growth to every corner of Philadelphia. And I want to particularly recognize Councilwoman Blackwell for her role on our board of directors. I agree very much with the other speakers who have referenced that small businesses are the drivers of our local economy. PIDC supports small business growth by meeting two of its greatest needs: access to capital and business support services. Since 2012, PIDC has made 483 loans to growing businesses, providing approximately $142 million in capital in 96% of the city's zip codes. 53% of these loans are to minority, women, and disabled-owned businesses. We also provide business support services in the form of free business-related workshops to more than 1,700 participants who are eager to improve their skills in areas ranging from accounting and financial statements to taxes to legal issues. In fact, earlier this morning, we hosted a workshop on contractor bonding, which is a major issue for small contractors. Many of our workshop participants are gearing up to take advantage of the opportunities provided by city programs such as Rebuild or the Restore, Repair, Renew program sponsored by Councilperson Parker and Council President Clark. Over 50% of the businesses taking advantage of our seminars are based in low-income communities throughout the city. 56% are persons of color and 32% are women. But individual workshops are very important, but not necessarily always sufficient to grow a business. This is where CCP's Power Up Your Business program has become one of PIDC's go-to business education resources when we're working with entrepreneurs and small business owners throughout the city. Building on our existing partnership with the Community College of Philadelphia through the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Initiative, PIDC and CCP, along with the Commerce Department, have worked together to expand the pool of local businesses taking advantage of free business support and education services provided by these innovative programs. Additionally, the Power Up Your Business offering of classes among the 5 different campuses aligns with PIDC's commitment to drive growth to every corner of Philadelphia. In particular, my colleague, the incomparable Marla Hamilton, PIDC's Vice President of Client Engagement, who's already been recognized here today, along with our entire business lending team, actively refer existing and prospective PIDC small business clients to the Power Up Your Business program as a critical component of a continuum of business education and support services that Philadelphia entrepreneurs need to succeed and grow. While we do not formally track this data, we have identified at least 20 small businesses that we have connected with, either through referring them out to the Power Up Your Business program or those that we have engaged with through our participation with Power Up Your Business. This includes a diverse range of business types, ranging from daycare to dentistry to desserts. So for example, you've already heard from Matt Reagan of Adventure Alley Children's Learning Center. As he noted, Mr. Reagan began attending
PIDC's workshops, enhancing his business knowledge, and subsequently applied, was accepted, and graduated from the Power Up Your Business program. With this success and milestone, he continued attending PIDC's workshops, and then applied, was accepted, and graduated from the 10KSB program. Seeing the impact of the business education on his business and the value of networking among other small business owners, both Mr. Reagan and his wife Heather enrolled in and are now participating in a new 6-month pilot program that is a partnership between PIDC and Clarify, featuring financial education, credit counseling, and coaching specifically for entrepreneurs. And in 2018, after leasing its facility for 10 years, Adventure Alley was able to purchase the building and became the first business that received financing through PIDC's new commercial mortgage loan product for small businesses. I think Councilman Dom will like this next piece based on his earlier testimony, where the commercial mortgage program by PIDC was developed out of a capital need that we had identified for small businesses and nonprofit organizations to purchase their existing locations and benefit from the investment in their growing neighborhoods and commercial corridors. By allowing businesses to gain ownership of their physical assets, the commercial mortgage loan helps to build wealth for entrepreneurs and promote neighborhood stability. This is just one example of the numerous PIDC clients and prospective clients who have taken advantage of the Power Up Your Business program to get to the next level of their business growth. We are confident that working with CCP and the city's Commerce Department, we will be able to cite many more such examples in the future. We fully and enthusiastically support renewed funding for the continuation of this important program, and thank you very much for having PIDC here today.
Good afternoon, Chairman Jones and members of the Committee Economic Development Committee. My name is Patricia Arcila, representing Latin Fashion, and I am here today to testify in Resolution 181115, introduced by Councilwoman Cheryl Parker. Oh, like this? Okay, I applied for the Power Up program business because it was exactly what I was looking for. For me, it was very convenient. The location, the schedule, and the classes that were perfect for my needs. I learned how to prioritize and focus on my business goals. I am more focused on how to structure my business in order to grow it. In the future, I hope to sell it instead of closing my doors when I decide to retire. With my coach advice, now I have a more accurate marketing plan and also working on the implementation, which is the hardest part for me since I would run my business by myself. So being focused, running the entire building from opening, closing, buying, selling, and being happy when I am not taking care of customers that way is very hard. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Shirley Sabedo, and I'm the Operations Manager, Construction Manager, Chief Creative Officer, and Finish Carpenter for the Stellar & Sterling Brickhouse Group. I'm here today to testify on Resolution number 181115. I want to thank Councilwoman Cheryl Parker for introducing the resolution. Stellar & Sterling Brickhouse Group is a 100% woman-owned construction and real estate investment firm, and we are poised to build affordable luxury residences in Philadelphia. We are a social impact company and teach high school students and graduates from trade schools, and former military personnel about entrepreneurship and the fundamentals of running construction businesses. I received strong support from Councilwoman Janie Blackwell when I applied to the Power Up program, where she wrote a letter to the President of the Community College of Philadelphia on my behalf. I applied initially for my own edification and to enhance my business acumen. Shortly thereafter, I thought it would be prudent to use what I ascertained to assist and support struggling shopkeepers in Southwest.
where I had a contract to beautify commercial corridors with my Wow Factor Designs as the general contractor. I'm presently renovating 5 businesses for the nationally recognized and federally funded Storefront Improvement Program. Lastly, we have lucrative opportunities, and I wanted to be certain the business is well positioned to capitalize from this phase of growth the company is experiencing. I'm enlightened by what I gleaned from all of my Cohort 7 business peers, my knowledgeable business coach, Mr. Torres, and the instructors. The course was interspersed with intriguing anecdotes of how people overcame certain obstacles and/or readied themselves for optimal success in their respective businesses. This also concretized how I managed the business. The most impactful aspect of the course for me was understanding the intricacies and complexities of the financials. We have a burgeoning business, and ensuring that revenue is captured and reducing expenditures is tantamount to the success, prosperity, and potential of the business. Increasing the top line and bottom line growth is imperative, for we need to keep profit margins high. Understanding the company financials has shown me how to maneuver. Maximizing financial growth and minimizing and eliminating excessive waste and frivolous expenditures will inherently make the company more profitable and viable. The entire course was transformational. I have gargantuan goals, and the tactical improvement plan approach, thinking critically with rapidity about how to strategize for upcoming projects and procurement, has been a godsend. As for marketing, I also started a business Instagram account to showcase the company's projects and reach out to prospective clients and students interested in the construction trades. A college student manages the account, and thus far we have many followers who observe in real time how we operate. During the course, I immediately put the tactical plan into effect for a new construction project I did with my partners, where we built a commercial property in Old City on 3rd and Market. Utilizing the TIP was fruitful and beneficial. I've connected with a technical college to expand their curriculum and implement business observation and ownership. I look forward to hiring many of their students and graduates for upcoming projects. Thank you for your time. Once again, my name is Shirlisa Beto. I'm a humanitarian, and I approve this message.
We were supposed to hear from the whole panel first before we ask questions, but I'm just trying to figure it out. Are you from down under? Are you from London?
I was born in England. I'm from London.
Okay, were you all impressed with her accent while she was? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. That's a tough act to follow. I love Power Up. Good morning. My name's Michaela Racine. Good morning, Chairman Jones and members of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. My name is Michaela Racine, and I'm representing Champion Dentistry, the House of Smiles. We've been in business for 30 years. We're based in West Philadelphia in Overbrook Park. I'm here today to testify on Resolution 181115. I want to thank Councilwoman Cheryl Parker for introducing this resolution. I found out about the storefront program by attending a workshop at the library. I then applied for the Power Up program because of the following 3 reasons. We wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to brush up on basic business skills. The next session was being held nearby in West Philadelphia, and the price was right. I'm a proud graduate of Cohort 3. The Power Up program provided a good foundation on business planning, marketing, social media, human resources, finance, and bookkeeping. This served as both a refresher and stimulus for us to focus on key areas to manage and grow the business. The business model canvas was a great way to start the session and provided a clear and simple way to look at key parts of the business. I still refer to that document that we produced the very first day. It also served as a quick way to introduce us to the other businesses in the session. We still use our tactical improvement plan, which was based on SMART goals. I also learned about the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program in a session that was attended by Marla Hamilton, and I graduated from the program in August 2018. The peer learning component in Power Up gave us good perspective on customer service. We learned to do things better. We realized that we needed to develop a plan to increase our digital presence, and we have done business with other Power Up graduates, not only in our cohort and in other cohorts. It was great to go through this program with Dr. Champion. We were able to have a common vision and expectations around process discipline and steps we would need to take in order to grow the business. We continue to streamline our processes and are focused on revenue growth and managing our costs. Power Up was key in re-energizing our focus on process improvement and growth at Champion Dentistry. We have recommended this to other businesses in the 63rd Street Business Corridor and are happy to say that it is replicating. This is the gift that continues to give. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today.
Thank you also very much for your testimony. So whatever this TIP thing was, we've heard several people talk about this is the Tactical
Improvement Plan.
Several of the business owners have all mentioned the TIP. In addition to that, I think I'm hearing a constant theme that Power Up has in essence almost been a feeder for the 10KSB program, and well, we are just really proud. I will say that Champion Dentistry, your testimony forces me to rethink my narrative about Power Up. I have always thought about promoting Power Up to home-based, sort of new businesses, but you're having been in business for 30 years, there's always something that we can learn to improve. So I will now sort of make sure I begin to push and recommend the program even for some of the existing businesses who've been at it for many, many years in the community. So I appreciate your testimony. Any more questions from my colleagues? Thank you all so very much for your testimony. And will the clerk call the next panel?
Lee Huang, Daryl Davis, and Allison Merrick.
You all feel free to please state your name for the record. Lee, we're going to ask Lee if you, because everyone is waiting for the ROI. Everybody wants to hear about it. So we're going to ask if Lee would go last, and we'll hear from the chamber first, then VIP, and Lee. Everyone's waiting on your testimony, Lee. We've been talking about this for days. So we'll hear from the chamber first. If you would just kindly state your name and where you represent for the record.
Sure. Good morning. My name is Daryl Davis, Manager of Local Government with the Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, members of the committee, Councilwoman Parker. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on Resolution 181115. We are happy to support the Power Up Your Business program provided by the Community College of Philadelphia and hope that the program does continue for a number of years to come. The Community College of Philadelphia is a valued chamber member and a strategic partner on a wide array of education and workforce development initiatives and an active member of our Education and Talent Action Team. As you all know, the Chamber's mission is to attract, retain, and grow jobs for the city and region. Through our Roadmap for Growth Action Team, the Chamber engages with a broad swath of civic and neighborhood organizations in the development and execution of a pro-growth, pro-jobs agenda. Collectively, we support initiatives that allow neighborhood businesses to thrive, connect residents with economic opportunity, and offer support to local neighborhood entrepreneurs. We have to continue to do a good job of helping new and emerging businesses thrive by providing access to business advisors, sources of funding, potential partners, and additional skills needed to help build a successful business. Equipping residents with tools and knowledge to start and grow their own businesses will uplift communities, encourage hiring locally, and stimulate economic growth at the neighborhood level, which is something that we are
intensely focused on. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony here. We're happy to support the Power Up Your Business program and hope to continue working with CCP as a strategic partner. And thank you for bringing this to our, the forefront in council.
Hi, my name's Allison Merrick, and I'm the proud Community Economic Development Coordinator at Philadelphia VIP. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'd like to share a little bit about VIP and then get to the heart of the matter, why we strongly encourage the city to continue its support of the innovative Power Up Your Business program. VIP's mission is to leverage the powerful resources of the community to provide quality volunteer legal services and ensure access to justice for low-income Philadelphians. Since its founding in 1981, VIP has partnered with volunteer attorneys to provide free legal services for city residents facing civil legal problems that threaten basic human needs and central relationships, housing, income, and family. 15 years ago, VIP launched its community economic development project, LawWorks. Faced with insurmountable hurdles of cost of startup, payroll, and customer development, small businesses really struggle when they need business law services to formally incorporate or resolve other transactional legal issues. For income-qualified small business owners, LawWorks resolves this dilemma by providing free legal assistance necessary to form and maintain sustainable ventures. To be eligible for LawWorks, a small business must be located in the city, and its owner must have household income at or below 300% of the federally defined poverty level. The small businesses and micro enterprises we serve fall into two main categories: family-based businesses or other small enterprises that began informally but now require a formal incorporation to remain operable, and new entrepreneurs with plans for businesses that could thrive in their community. The types of issues LawWorks volunteers help with include reviewing and advising on commercial leases and drafting contract and agreement templates for a business's clients, vendors, or partners. LawWorks receives business law inquiries every day. Often the entrepreneur reaching out is still in the idea formation stage and not yet ready to be matched with a volunteer attorney. Accordingly, we ask applicants to submit a business plan, which usually indicates if the entrepreneur has a clear vision and has identified strategies to build or grow the business. When I tell business owners what LawWorks needs before seeking to connect them with legal assistance, or when their question is really more marketing or financial, I'm able to refer them to experts and mentors like Power Up Your Business, making what would be a no a not yet. As prior witnesses have detailed, Power Up's offerings are robust. Participants in its peer-based learning experience gain familiarity and receive coaching in critical areas like marketing, financials, and business operations. Just last week, I spoke with a woman who is building a home organizing and staging business. She attended a LawWorks legal event, and I was following up on the legal help that she needed. She wanted to create a contract template for clients, making sure her homeowner clients understand their liability when she asks them to sign up for her home organizing services. She mentioned she was participating in the Philly iHub Small Business Training Series, a partnership between Power Up Your Business and Mount Airy USA. She described the valuable business skills she was learning. She also detailed how exciting and encouraging it's been to work with a cohort of entrepreneurs who are in the same business development stage but come from different industries. Supporting Power Up Your Business is a sound investment. The program gives entrepreneurs the skills and tools to start and grow successful business ventures, helping to build a stronger, more inclusive, and more equitable local economy. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify.
Lee, before you start with your testimony, I just want to say a special thanks to the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce. Your pro-growth, pro-jobs focus, particularly relative to your roadmap for growth that I am proud, kicked off in the 9th Councilmatic District, is one that is of urgent need. to small businesses throughout the city of Philadelphia. And the fact that the chamber is taking the roadmap for growth, and again, I'm intentional in my language here, taking it outside of Center City and into the veins of our neighborhoods, sends a very strong message to not just business owners, but residents of the city of Philadelphia, that the Greater Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce is concerned about businesses and neighborhoods. So I want to say a special thank you to you and for the Chamber for thinking enough of Power Up and its value to the city that you came here today to testify. To you, Allison, please send a hearty thank you to my good friend, your executive director, Sophie Bryant. Love her dearly. She's one of the smartest women in the world I know. But Hillary Emerson, who is the chief legal aide in my office, she's on maternity leave, and she's sending me text messages saying, thank Philly VIP, because we refer to, we as a city council office, we cannot provide formal legal advice to our constituents. So we have to send them to Philly VIP, we have to send them to CLS and senior law. And whenever we've done anything in the community or we needed your support, you all have been responsive. So we want to say thank you. And now we're going to lay it on heavy with our small business owners, because you're going to partner with Power Up, and we're looking forward to that. So I just wanted to say thank you to the both of you, because Lee, I got a feeling you're going to be here for a minute. Okay, thank you. Thank you so very much.
I'll get comfortable then. Council members, thank you for the opportunity to testify about the economic case of Power Up Your Business, a small business support program run by Community College of Philadelphia. My name is Lee Huang, and I'm a Senior Vice President and Principal of eConsult Solutions, which recently conducted an economic analysis of Power Up Your Business for Community College. Small businesses support economic development through individual empowerment, local purchasing and hiring, and diversity and inclusion. Our study validates what you already know, that investing in diverse small businesses throughout the city grows the economy for all and produces a compelling return to the city in the form of local jobs created and local tax revenues generated. Let me briefly describe how Power Up Your Business produces that return. Each year, the city's investment in Power Up Your Business is used to train neighborhood-based small businesses throughout Philadelphia. As a result of the resources, coaching, and support these small businesses receive, they are more likely to stay in business, they increase their rate of revenue growth, and they hire new employees. After 10 years, we estimate that Power Up Your Business participants are 50% more likely to be in business and have annual revenues that are 50% higher than non-participants. This means that in the aggregate, each annual cohort of Power Up Your Business participants will generate more than $110 million in net new revenue within the city in the first 10 years after they complete the program. The new revenue has a $175 million total economic impact in Philadelphia over that 10-year period. That revenue represents business activity in neighborhoods throughout the city. It supports local jobs, and it yields more tax revenues for the city, an estimated $2.8 million over 10 years in wage tax, sales tax, and BERT from each year's cohort of participants. This means that each year you invest $800,000 in Power Up Your Business, the small businesses you are helping reach are generating back for you 3.5 times that in local tax revenues over the next 10 years. And beyond those 10 years, those businesses will continue to be pillars in our communities, providing local goods and services, creating local jobs, and adding to the local tax base. Council members, you are stewards of this city's great neighborhoods and its municipal finances, and I can hardly think of a better return to these communities and a better investment of these funds than Power Up Your Business. Let me add, by the way, that Councilman Dom had mentioned what would happen if funding increased by 6 times. And I wanted to kind of respond to that. It's my inference from Dr. General's comments that increasing funding by 6 times would enable community college to reach 6 times as many participants in any given year. It's my opinion from an impact analysis standpoint that the impact on the city economy would be far greater than 6 times. And let me tell you why. In addition to the great resources that community college is providing to each participant, they are also creating a community of entrepreneurs who over time will support and help one another. And for those of us who have run small businesses, we know the importance of the camaraderie of having other people who are in the same situation as you to call on. These Power Up Your Business cohorts become a somewhat of a fraternity or sorority for each participant. And so because of network effects, which is to say that there is an exponential impact as you grow a network, if you increase a network by 6 times, you're increasing the power of that network by far more than 6 times. So it is my opinion that an increase in funding would lead to a commensurate increase in the amount of people served, but an exponential effect on the impact on the local economy and in turn on the local tax base.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. That was a very good testimony by all of you. I just want to have some questions for you, Lee. What do you think, based on the results we're seeing, is a reasonable expectation of what we could invest and what they could handle? I mean, I used $5 million as an example 6 times, but clearly the results are dramatic, and clearly we need to increase entrepreneurism. What would be your recommendation?
I obviously can't speak to capacity and deployment of staff at community college. I'll speak from the standpoint of the local economy. And we've studied the local economy, and the business that was before your committee prior to this bill was related to the disparity study, and Iola Harper was presenting. Our firm does the disparity study. So we're very familiar with the availability of minority and women-owned businesses in the city of Philadelphia. And I can tell you that there is great demand for the sorts of services that are being, and the sort of community that is provided through Power Up Your Business. So from a demand for services standpoint, if community college were to be able to offer more classes and serve more businesses, I am sure that there will be businesses there that are interested in taking that bump on that opportunity. And just to piggyback off of Councilwoman Parker's comment about that the people that are benefited by this program are not just folks that are just getting started, but folks that have been in business for a very long time. Actually, in looking at survey data of participants, historical data on participants of Power Up Your Business, the average age of the business served was about 5-6 years. So these are not just businesses, these are not just people that decided yesterday that they wanted to become an entrepreneur. These are people that have been at it for a while. And I think it really goes to show you the importance of these kinds of services and access to financing, access to a community that can really take a business that is struggling to push to a place of scaling and hiring and getting more in revenue and really get them to that place.
Yeah, it may have been in your, thank you, it may have been in your information, but I was just wondering, the economic job multiplier of each entrepreneurial business that's started, what is that factor roughly? Do you have an idea?
What is the actual ratio?
Yeah.
In the city of Philadelphia, it is roughly between 1.5 and 2, which is to say that every job that is represented by a Power Up Your Business business is supporting another half to full jobs somewhere else out there. Pieces of jobs in the form of the supply chain that their business is tapping into, as well as the fact that they're paying themselves and their employees and their spending is going back in the local economy. The regional impact is far greater because, as a city, we're in the middle of a region, so some of that impact leaks out into the suburbs, into New Jersey, but within the city of Philadelphia, the multiplier from a job standpoint is roughly between 1.5 and 2.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all for your testimony. Thank you, Madam
Chair
Chairwoman.
recognizes Councilman Taubenberger.
Madam Chair, thank you so much, and I want to thank Lee and Darrell and Allison for their testimony. It was very, very important, very impressive. But I do want to ask you, all of you, if you know the answer, and Lee, you had said very clearly we're in the middle of a region. Are we the only city or area that does this, either one in the region or in the nation?
I can take a crack at that.
Well, please. I'd like to know what your
chamber standpoint.
If you know if there's any other city that does this in our region. Of course, that would make it other municipalities, but then also in the nation. Are there any other cities that do this in any way like we do?
I can get back to you on that. I know there are like a variety of training programs, but I'm not sure how comprehensive they are. They could be one-off or something like that, but to the extent of, are we the only ones to do it or have the best program, I would have to get back to you on it. But,
okay. Well, I'd like to hear that.
A lot of places want to support their small business community. I think what's unique about Power Up Your Business is that it is coming out of community college. And so the connection to the courses and the coaching and just the institution becomes really important because of that supportive network. So it isn't just the benefit from a single entrepreneur standpoint is greater than the sum of the things that they're getting in the program. And a lot of that comes from being able to tie into this larger entity. We all know that continuing education is so important.
Absolutely.
Even and especially when you're an entrepreneur. We think of workforce training from the standpoint of I'm in a job and then my employer sends me to get some continuing education. Well, entrepreneurs continually need to be educated.
Absolutely.
And so being able to tap into community college, I think that's part of the special sauce that I'm not aware, not having studied, but I'm not aware of that linkage in other regions.
Madam Chair, I think we might be on the cusp of really cooking up something great, talking about culinary and food, but I see some really great things that could come out of here. One, we have a wonderful, wonderful college and community college, but I, as former executive director of the Northeast Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce and as city councilman, hear all the problems that small businesses face in this city, and there are many. And there are some things we can help with, some things we can change, but this is, I think, an absolute tool to help keep people in the city. Because sometimes when they talk about that, they say, you know what, Taubenberger, I'm leaving. Taxes are too high, this is wrong, that's wrong, neighborhood's going to hell, I'm getting out. But you know what, something's powerful about education and being able to give our entrepreneurs, our small businesses, maybe they won't even classify as entrepreneurs. The fact that they're in small business says enough of them about themselves, and if we help develop their business to the best of its potential, we as a city have actually done something very, very powerful, and I think we have to keep talking about this, getting it right, and letting the world know we're doing something very special in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Taubenberger. We really appreciate your thoughtful comments, and it allows us to reflect on what we've done and to figure out how to build. Lee, my question to you is one that we as members of this council are about to get fully engaged in as we begin this budget cycle, and that's the purpose of the timing of this hearing, because the rubber's about to, meet the road. We hear the narrative. Philadelphia is the largest, poorest big city in our nation. We need to, be investing in more programs to support our neighborhood relative to public safety, relative to restorative justice, relative to, our aging infrastructure, the school districts of Philadelphia's aging infrastructure. And there are a lot of investments that our city needs to make. I have always been of the perspective that we will never be able to tax ourselves enough to generate enough revenue to fix all of the problems or meet all of the challenges that are facing our great city. I am much more in favor of figuring out how to grow the economic pie. So when I look at Power Up, that's sort of what I think. But I'm asking you, and I want the three of you, if you will, to feel free to answer, what is your response to the resident in the city of Philadelphia who says, you all just invested $2.4 million, $800,000 a year for the past 3 years, and Philadelphia is the largest, poorest big city in the nation. I know you've already laid it out, but I'm asking you to, what is your response to that person who says, we should be making this investment in other programs?
That's a really good question. I'll take a first crack at it and hopefully tee up my colleagues here. We clearly have a lot of economic challenges in this city. We have a lot of poverty, we have a lot of inequity, we have a lot of blight. These problems did not happen overnight. They are part of a larger economic structural challenge that we're facing. And I don't know that there are any easy answers to that. I do know that there is no improvement for a city, both economically and from a quality of life standpoint, without growing the base and the tax base, the economic base. And the best way to do that is through entrepreneurship, both entrepreneurial ventures as well as entrepreneurial education. And so you are absolutely right that council is going to have to make some tough choices and trade-offs when it comes to budget priorities. I can't imagine a scenario that would not include investment in entrepreneurial education and entrepreneurial activity, because as our report bears out for this particular case of it, it yields a very robust return. And that is something that we absolutely need in order to turn around a decades-long decline that we have recovered from a very long and painful economic transition. We have a long way to go to make that work for everybody. And I'll speak, by the way, as it relates to you saying not being able to tax your way out of the situation. Tax revenue is needed. There is absolutely no question that we need revenue in order to provide basic and important municipal services. Tax revenues are the function of a tax rate and a tax base. And I believe that economically you have to grow that base. And the best way to grow that base is to grow your job base. And the best way to grow your job base is is to grow your own. And no disrespect meant for the Amazon sweepstakes. And I won't comment on that, either positive or negative, but we absolutely need to grow our own jobs also. And this is an important way to do that, taking advantage of an incredible educational institution like community college and an incredible model of Power Up Your Business that has, as our report proves, a very strong return on investment. So I very much am sensitive to the plight that you were in as far as having to make tough decisions. Wearing another hat, I have to do that on the school board related to finances. And at the same time, I would strongly encourage investment in programs like Power Up Your Business for the reasons that I just stated.
And just to briefly echo Lee's comments, as budget season's coming up, there's a priority or a number of funding priorities that you all have to balance and take a vote on and choose to ultimately approve.
Through our Roadmap for Growth initiative, that has brought us out into many different neighborhoods across Philadelphia, and the one common theme that we keep hearing is, we want to see targeted investments in our neighborhoods, in our communities, especially along commercial corridors. So, if the city were to invest $2.5 million or even $5 million into this, Power Up Your Business program, it would help train entrepreneurs, especially within our neighborhoods, that can, open up businesses along commercial corridors, or, help existing businesses, along our commercial corridors. And eventually, I think that ties into a larger strategy, with the city of, the commercial corridor improvement program and things along those lines. So I think it's a step at taking a targeted investment, and, it's one way to start to grow jobs locally. So I'll leave it at that.
To speak to the regionality part of all of this, I know that LawWorks is one of the only broad-based legal service providers for small businesses. We're only able to serve Philadelphia, and I think that's indicative of, or plays back to the comprehensive business support network that we have in Philadelphia. And I think that uniquely positions Philadelphia to help grow businesses, facilitate entrepreneurs starting and growing their businesses. So an investment into Power Up Your Business and the comprehensive business support network even further empowers Philadelphia to be able to support its business community.
Chair recognizes Councilman Dom.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and I just want to add my 2 cents here for what it's worth. But the fact that the Pew report I mentioned earlier is only 2.4% businesses owned by African Americans, this is a program that we have to put more money towards, and I personally would support you with whatever numbers they can handle, and I'll tell you why. 26% of our city 2 years ago, these are the stats, were in poverty. 31% of our city are eds and meds, and we love them, but they don't pay real estate taxes or business taxes. 43% of the city pays the full boat. This program expands the full boat. This program expands the full tax-paying base, which we need to do. So whatever it would take to expand this program, I'm 110% on board. And thank you for your leadership, really, on this program. It's great. Thank you.
Thank each of you for your testimony. Are there any other witnesses in the audience who wish to testify on resolution number 181115? Yes, you can. You just have to come up to the front and identify to the table and identify yourself for the record. And if I may, I know this is a little odd. There's a gentleman sitting in the back who, when Councilman Taubenberger was asking his question about sort of regionally and nationally, do we know of any other program functioning like Power Up that's connected to CCP, he was very confidently, Councilman Taubenberger, saying, no, no, no. Is there anything you wish to add to the record? No. Okay, okay. State your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Darlene Jones of Star Fusion Restaurant.
Oh, you're the Star Fusion lady. I'm coming.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I actually participated in a lot of you guys' programs from a young adult, from a kid. I started at OIC. OIC, I got a GED from OIC. I was a troubled kid. I was arrested in high school for fighting all the time. So that was one of the programs. Then I went to all these city programs. So the best one I had so far was the Power Up program. I didn't even know what an elevator pitch was, but now I'm so happy to say, hi, I'm Darlene Jones from Star Fusion Restaurant, owner of home of the specialty wing and spring roll bar. We offer 17 different types of spring rolls and 17 different types of wings. I can say that in 30 seconds or less now. So I'm grateful for the program. I have benefit from the program tremendously, and I even introduce friends and family members who are starting business, who already started business, and they're part of the program now. Even my sister-in-law, she's 20 years old and she owns a beauty supply store on Woodland Avenue. She goes to the program, and it's just taken off, and I'm really grateful for the program. That's all I have to say about it.
Chair recognizes Councilman Taubenberg.
I want this definitely put on the record. Madam Chair, if you're going to the Star Fusion Restaurant, I'd like to go
Please
with you.
do. We have amazing spring rolls.
We will visit you.
Cohort, we'll take a cohort with
Yeah,
us.
absolutely.
But thank you guys for having me.
Madam Chair.
Thank you so very much for your testimony. This concludes the business of the Committee on Commerce and Economic Development today. I want to say to Councilman Dom, Councilman Taubenberger, Chairman Jones, all members of the committee, and for those of you who are here today to testify, thank you so very much for your patience. Your testimony here today is what we needed to get on the record as we begin to start this new budget cycle and we begin to advocate for Power Up. It won't be because we are emotionally in love with the program, but Lee, your testimony and that of eConsult, along with that of the small business owners and everyone who testified, will ensure that our advocacy is based on a data-driven, research-based approach that can demonstrate the significant return on investment that this program has meant for the economic bottom line for the city of Philadelphia. And to you, Dr. Generals, and Carl, thank you so very much for being the leaders in moving this program forward. Councilman Taubenberger, we're going to check to see whether or not there's any other, particularly amongst the Big Ten in the U.S., if there are any others that have a program that is connected to their local community college or another institution of higher learning that works at the level of Power Up. And if we find out we really are number one, we're going to do what Philadelphia hasn't been good at. We're going to let the world know that we do this well. Thank you so very much.